Hello everyone, and welcome back to Let's Play Breath of Fire 2, where we are about to invade Nenpo's tower. And joining us as an observant onlooker is Skyzo. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. Hello, YouTube.
Alright, now, once again the final party is Ryu, Sten, Rand, and Nina. And I want 6 smoke bombs and as many wisdom seeds as possible, because most of the enemies are pretty manageable, but some of them are toughies. And we're at the point where we can afford to get some smoke bombs now. They have your chances of an encounter each step. Now, your chances of an encounter keep going up the more steps you take, so it's not something you would notice, but it really does add up a lot over the course of the game. But in any case, we want Sten's Silver Knife, because there will be some spirit enemies he'll be one-shotting. We want Rand's Healing and Poison Curation, because we'll be running into some status ailments. And we also want Nina, because we taught her Cure 2 last episode, and she also has the Will ability, which regenerates AP. So if you're patient enough, you've got effectively unlimited AP, which will come in handy for, say, these guys. They have a 50% chance of missing and a 50% chance of crits. But that doesn't matter because they have a crippling weakness to ice that lets them get one-shotted by it. And they also have no resistance whatsoever to status ailments. So what I like to do for these guys is I wait till only one is left, and then I get the blunt spell on him, which reduces their attack. And then just wait around while Nina regenerates her AP. That way she's all topped off for all the other fights in here. Which is good because there will be a lot of fights in here.
Right, so there are no items for you to use that regenerate AP, right?
Well, we have Wisdom Seeds, which heal up to 20 points of AP at the cost of taking away 20 points of your current HP, but they also cost 200 zenny, which is still a little much for this point in the game.
Oh, I see, okay.
Anyway, that's the first fight. Now, let's explain what's going on. Basically, Nenpo only wants handsome guys, so make sure you have Ryu in front of the marching order before you step on that tile. And then from there, you just have to keep getting enough random encounters for her to finally decide you're ready to pass, because she wants strong men too. And unfortunately, it's a little random as to how many battles you have to fight before she lets you through. Sometimes it only takes one. I have also seen it take up to 3, so just be patient.
Alright, fair enough.
There's nothing there. Oh. See, Skyzo, I just locked myself inside the tower, so if you have any thoughts about leaving, you'll want to avoid that chest, and also avoid that lightning, because I don't think we can cure Petrify yet. What do you think, Skyzo?
To be honest, I saw this coming. Like, you have this straight hallway right in the chest. Like, it's a pretty obvious setup for a trap like that.
Also, this second floor is the first one where you can get into random encounters, so that's why we waited to use the smoke bomb there. In retrospect, I should have taken 4 steps before using it, but I didn't have all the details worked out on the steps yet. Anyway, here's that enemy that Sten can one-shot. So, make sure to bring him along and cut loose. Easy, right?
Right, and I imagine that if she couldn't, then they would be troublesome.
Well, they have spells, and even the weakest spells hit for a lot at this point in the game, like 30 to 40. Actually, on that topic, I should have had the other guys defend if Sten was the only one doing the attacking, because it turns out defend helps against magic too. That's not the way it is for most RPGs, but it is in this one. Speaking of defending, I'll also want to mainly use the Jolt spell, on these guys I mean, and have Rand follow up, because these guys have low enough HP to where Jolt will usually take care of all of them. And then Rand finishes off the straggler. And as you can see, we are going to be making good use of Rand's heal poison ability.
I imagine it's also very good for item economy.
Yeah. Anyway, our smoke bomb is almost about to run out, so I'm gonna keep pausing until it does. Just be sure to save 2 for the top floor. Ah, there we go. So you can tell whether or not the smoke is still in effect by seeing if the monster is green or red. If it's red, it's active. If it's green, you have to use another.
Right.
Also, some of these chests spawn holes, which we're only gonna pick up a few of them.
Why only a few of them?
Because they spawn holes, and they can be troublesome. That and the fact that a lot of them, I think like 3 of them we skipped over only gives 1 zenny, and then another one gives 100 zenny, but it's like really out of the way, so it wasn't worth the chance of an encounter. Wait, you were asking what was bad about the holes themselves? If you were, you can fall down them, and when you do, it takes you to the first floor, so we want to avoid that.
Fair enough.
Also, here's something amusing. This is your first chance to actually leave the tower if you tell Nenpo that you would prefer that, and you can do that. At a cost, which we will see very soon.
Right, so she's the one responsible for turning the people into stone?
Yeah, fortunately she likes us, so she's letting us go, but not without strings attached. Actually, while we're waiting to see what she does, I should also tell you about the curse status, something that the Beezlebuzzes can inflict on you. All it does is lower your condition to its worst. That just means less criticals, less dodges, less counters, that sort of thing, so don't worry about it. See, she stole some of our zenny. More specifically, she stole half of it, as you can see here. Which really sucks if you raided that treasure vault beforehand.
Ah, so that's the cache.
Yeah. Now, here's a tile puzzle. The order you step on these determines what treasure chests you're able to reach, and we want all of them, so make sure you follow me as you're playing along.
So, I imagine we're going to be fighting her?
Ah, Skyzo, you know better than to pump me for spoilers.
Well, I mean, we have a tower, right, full of people who have been petrified, so gotta fight her.
Anyways, these ogres can counterattack you, can also heal themselves, and are pretty bulky, so they can be troublesome. Fortunately, they're also mostly vulnerable to status ailments, so they're another one you can use the blunt will trick on. But if you want to speed through them, you just use Jolt like that, since it hits both of them and enemies can't really counter magic. That said, Nina is also running a little low on AP, and not all of the enemies are people you can safely use the will trick on, so in retrospect, I might have been a little hasty.
Right, well, Jolt, the spell, seems pretty good. It doesn't seem like it has many drawbacks to it.
Well, it doesn't really do a lot of damage. But yeah, if you can find a large enough group or you find enemies that can counterattack, then yeah, it's really good for getting past them. Also helped by the fact that Rand learned it as well, which is odd, but very welcome for his character type.
To me, what seems to make it good is that it hits everybody, which I'm not sure we have any other abilities like that.
We don't.
Yeah, so when you factor in all of the damage, then it can do a significant amount, I'd imagine.
You can. Now, I'm gonna warn you guys right here, for anyone playing the retranslation or the Game Boy Advanced version, The run command is usually great, but the original game didn't have it, and more importantly, there are some sections of the game that don't account for your ability to run. These tiles, for example. If you run past them, the game won't always register that one of them got run over because you're going over them too quickly, so for those specifically, you want to walk instead of run. Otherwise, you might lock yourself out of some treasure. Not a problem on the original Super Nintendo version, but on the retranslation and Game Boy Advance, you'll want to watch out for that. By the way, I want to talk about that iron shield that just dropped. Enemies don't drop items often. In fact, I think the highest they can possibly have is a 25% chance of dropping something, but when they do, it can sometimes be pretty neat. The iron shield is helpful, but not so helpful as to, like, change a bunch of the routes, so I'm gonna keep it.
Right, something I'm curious about is whether this game has any of those ultra rare drops.
It does, and if I encounter something like that, I would toss it. The shield's fine, though. Oh no! Acorn Knights, or C-Nats. You get 2 of those guys, you want to take any initiative you can get, because they attack twice, they attack fairly hard, they're all faster than everyone except Cat, and they are mostly immune to status ailments, so they're just a tough enemy with no real weaknesses. And if you do have to stand and fight, what I would recommend you do is one-shot one of them with a Whelp spell from Ryu. And then the rest should just go ham with their strongest attacks. Jolt from Rand, Sea Moon from Sten, probably Frost or Cyclone or whatever from Nina, because this is just one of those situations where someone might just die and you really can't do a lot about it, which is part of the reason why we brought Rand. You see? Rand is one of our toughest allies and he almost got killed by 2 of them. Did you see that?
Yeah, and in a single turn, they're very strong.
Yeah. This is why we wanted to leave with some wisdom seeds in tow, because we won't often fight these guys back to back, but it's a possibility, and we can't easily leave Nenpo's tower. This top floor, by the way, is the only floor where you can fight these guys, so what we're hoping for is that we take care of our business with Nenpo and then we leave before we fight any more of those guys. But RNG can always be against you.
Yeah, and especially since you can have issues escaping battles, so imagine getting trapped with them.
Yeah. It's also why we brought Rand along, because he's got that wake ability that can revive someone for free. Not totally reliably, but more than 50%, so that's neat. And also why it's good that we can disable a lot of other monsters with Blunt.
Yeah, I could see it being useful, even late game.
Yeah. Anyways, here is Nenpo. Make sure you use those wisdom seeds because we got yet another woman that comes on to Ryu. That seems to happen a lot in some early JRPGs.
I can see that. I'm not sure why it's a recurring theme, but it's definitely there.
Yeah. Anyway, while we're here, let's talk about the wisdom stat very quickly. We got a wisdom brace shortly before, and it's gonna be relevant in this fight here. The wisdom stat, I mean. Basically, the target's wisdom determines the base chance of a status ailment landing, and then the caster's wisdom determines a bonus to its accuracy. Actual damage is much simpler, it just increases your chance of doing 1.5 times the amount of damage, which basically like a crit, but worse. Most relevantly though, Nenpo herself has almost 0 wisdom. She has no resistance to any status ailments, so we can land one no matter what. This is good because, in case you couldn't tell, she is the next boss fight.
Figured.
Now, this fight is usually easy, but it can wipe you with some obscene bad luck. So we're gonna have Nina cut her speed in half, And then we're gonna use our Whelp spell to really lay into her. We'll have Ryu take off 256 damage, we'll have Sten do some extra damage, and then since Rand is slower than Ryu, we'll have him completely heal Ryu's AP with a Wisdom Seed. Top us off so we can do yet another full power Whelp spell. I call that the Dragon Shotgun trick because you get a powerful blast off and then you reload that shotgun before the second round starts. Super good. Requires at least one slow character though.
And that right there just did pretty much half her health.
And since we also cut her agility in half, we can now go before she gets another chance to attack. So this fight is officially over.
Yeah, that dragon ability is just... it seems pretty busted.
Yeah, it is. Also not helped by the fact that for some reason she has less than half the health that the Terrapin had.
Oh yeah, no doubt, he was much harder to beat than her.
Now, here's how she can troll you. She also has an ability called Dream Breath, which can put your entire party to sleep. It usually won't, but if it does, that can be trouble because, as I told you a few episodes ago, only melee attacks can cure the sleep condition, and Nenpo mainly uses elemental attacks, not melee attacks. So she can effectively stun lock you like this, and then wipe out your party because she too has the Jolt ability.
So essentially what this fight boils down to is that you either one-shot her or two-shot her with the dragon ability, or she wipes you with stun locks.
Yes. Now, I will say I'm actually using save states to force the worst possible outcomes for the sake of demonstration. She won't usually do this, but I've had her do it to me once in all my playthroughs, so it is a thing that can happen.
You know, it's almost like it was intended because she even has the Jolt ability, and she can't wake you up. So this is her strategy, essentially.
Yeah. Or it could just be careless playtesting, one or the other.
Yeah.
Anyways, this was not the way things rolled down. So now we are gonna cut back to our victory and see how the story progresses from there. Aw, look at that. She's crying, Skyzo.
She wouldn't join our party, would she?
No, she doesn't. A lot of people theorize that she probably should have, but as is, she does not. And here this person who is now turned back to flesh and blood explains her plight. In a sense, Nenpo is trapped inside the tower, but she is her own captor. Very solemn, that.
So, is she cursed?
No, it's her own personality that keeps people away. She's beautiful and she's very powerful and hot. It's just because she's so clingy, people run away from her instead of to her.
Oh, okay. So it's kind of like a metaphor, I guess.
Yeah. And unfortunately, the only guy that was willing to brave her personality was that giant frog who she put a curse on. Although I will defend her on that one, because in the demo, he's actually chasing her through the tower. Like, first of all, the retranslation took out these demo reels for some reason, but in the original game, you get short little demos of what the characters are doing in their daily lives, and Tapeta is like chasing her through the tower, slaying monsters that get in his way. So in a sense, she's actually not the bad guy on that specific score. It's just in regards to the rest of the guys that she was too extreme.
Hey, maybe that's why she's like that.
Would at least explain why she doesn't like frogs. Anyways, enough on that. We are gonna break this guy's curse with a young Mademoiselle. It's like, say, Nina or Kat, who need to be in front of the marching order. Fortunately, we only have 5 party members, so we're guaranteed to have at least one female in our party.
So she'll need to kiss him.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Actually, it's an interesting statement on Nenpo herself that she didn't turn him to stone like she did with the rest of the guys. In fact, she gave him something that could be undone just from a kiss. Uh-oh, another explosion, Skyzo. Why does that happen every time something even remotely... Wait a minute. Is he... It's still a frog! That didn't do anything! Or did it?
Looks like he's a frogman or something.
Okay, so the curse was Nenpo turned her from a small frog into a big frog.
You know what? That's kind of funny.
So, in a sense, Nenpo almost did him a favor. It's just he wanted to be a little guy instead.
You know, of the people that we've met in this game so far, I did not expect that the frog would join the party. Like, that was unexpected.
To be fair, we already got like a dog person at the very start, so it's not too unwarranted. It's just, I wish he was better. Also, here's one of my favorite lines from the old translation. Hey, stupid! I did it! It's done! But yeah, that is our township being completed by the carpenter, and where we get access to the cooking carpenter and all the busted stuff that entails. As for our new party member, he is... I'll go more into detail on him later, but basically, he's a good utility character, but absolutely worthless in combat. That said, this is also when you can now completely break the game. So I'll also be telling you about that as I go over how bad Jean is. But for now, this is Fiona Day Quester signing out. Have a nice day, everyone, and God bless y'all.
Alright, I'll catch you later, YouTube. And I hope the frogman is like... I hope he has good defensive stats at least.
He doesn't. Bye!